I'm so glad that everyone was able to come here together to learn all about how observation works in our Montessori classrooms. Most of you are coming from schools that use a traditional model where students get grades. You had to follow a strict curriculum and pacing guide for all your subject areas, where you would only be teaching one grade level, and the students were not allowed free movement in the classroom and choice of their work. So now that you've had some time at Charles Ellis Montessori, you might have been asking yourself, how in the world do I keep up with all of these students and all of the lessons that they need? And also, how could I possibly manage my classroom when I'm only working with small groups or individual students all day? Well, believe it or not, this is where observation can become your best friend. Today, we are gathered here to get an overview of our observation sessions for the first semester. I want to show you what you'll be learning so you can be prepared when our sessions begin. So let's start with looking at our agenda. The purpose of these sessions is to help you learn to use observation as a tool that'll help you create a better environment for your students and also for you. Our learning goals are: why do we observe in the Montessori classroom? How to choose a focus topic for your observations, and then how to analyze and reflect on your observational data. Once you've done that, you need to learn how to create an action plan and then put it into place. And lastly, you need to be able to assess the effectiveness of an observation. And so why is this important? Well, it's important because observation in Montessori classrooms helps us create and maintain positive, effective environments. So how will you learn? We will meet for 6 sessions throughout the first semester. And then after the sessions where we will have discussions, we'll have lessons, we'll have time to work with observation and some self-reflection, you will then take the information back into your classrooms to apply what you've learned. And lastly, how will you know that you've learned? Well, you will know you've learned when you are able to follow the observation process in your classroom to make positive, effective changes for your students and for your environment on a regular basis. Module 1 will introduce you to observation and explain why we use it. You'll have opportunities for discussions, and you'll be asked to create a resource that explains why we use observation in our Montessori classrooms. The second session in Module 1 will introduce you to the idea of focused topics for your observation. You might want to observe a single child or a group of students. Perhaps you need to observe an area of your classroom that always seems to be a little bit too busy or a little bit too loud. We'll also share with you a number of observation forms that are specifically designed to help you observe your focused topic. You will see 3 examples of some observation forms here. And then at the end of this session, you're going to choose an observation focused topic. You're going to find the proper form to help you make that observation, and then you're going to go back into your classroom and apply this knowledge by doing an observation. You will be introduced to the observation process in session 3 of Module 2. Here, not only will you learn the process of observation, but also how to build a habit of observation. Session 4 will be dedicated to learning how to take the data from your observations and analyze it. We're going to spend time discussing our biases and how we can be aware of them so that our observations can stay objective. This takes a lot of practice and a lot of self-reflection, and don't worry, we're going to do that together. In session 5, we will take the analysis of observation you've completed and use it to create an action plan to put into place to help make a positive impact in your classroom. Module 3 we'll be measuring the effectiveness of your observations. We'll discuss how using the observation process in your classrooms on a regular basis can affect your students, can affect your classroom environment, and yourself. And you'll be able to engage in discussions with your peers about how your action plans actually affected your classroom. This will be a great opportunity to come together, to listen to one another's stories, and to learn from each other. Lastly, I want to tell you how you can measure your success with observation. Learning how to observe and use those observations to positively affect your classroom is a long-term process, and it takes lots of practice, lots of trial and error, lots of failures, lots of successes, but it is worth it. And so for you, if you want to know, am I being successful? Am I making progress? Well, if you're observing each week, you're making progress. Your goal should be to observe 3 or more times a week. If you're following the observation process after each observation, you are making progress. If you're able to put a plan of action into place to fix those areas of need, you are making progress and you're finding success with observation. And if you're able to reflect on whether your action plan worked or not, this is really what you're looking for. It is part of that process, part of that awareness. So don't worry. Your colleagues and I will be with you every step of the way to help you through the process. I know that everyone can become an astute observer, and I promise you, once you learn how to observe and follow the process, you will be very glad that you did. I can't wait to see everyone for session 1. Thank you for coming.